Hey y'all, welcome back to Made It Out. Today's episode is with someone who you might recognize from SNL or Marvel's Agatha All Along, Sasheer Zamata. And this conversation was so fun for me. I love to talk about anything witchy and spiritual, and we got into it all. Also, if you're watching, you might notice that we were in a different studio. Our good friends Cami and Taryn from the Staying Up podcast were kind enough to lend us their home. So after you listen to this episode, please run over there and listen to their podcast. They talk a lot about their relationship and they give you kind of a peek into their lives. It's actually what I listen to in the shower and at the gym. So enjoy. We'll link here in the show notes. Matilda and I have a lot of travel happening this summer and I need luggage so badly. I am going to Quince to get some high quality travel bags at a very economy price. I really needed a bag for the plane that was like cute and stylish, but also practical. So I went with their luxury triple compartment weekender and I am so obsessed. For your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/made for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/made to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/made. All right, I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for being here. Of course.
Yeah.
I want to start with just getting to know a little bit about you, where you come from, and what your upbringing was like.
Yeah. I'm from all over. My dad was in the Air Force. So I was born in Okinawa, Japan. And then we moved to Kentucky, Texas, Virginia, California. And I grew up mostly in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where I had like middle school, high school. I was always a performative kid. I was a shy kid, but I always performed. Like I was in my church choir and I did show choir in high school. And then I did musicals in college. And then eventually started auditioning for plays and doing improv and realizing, oh, I really want to perform. And then I moved to New York and was auditioning for Broadway things, didn't get any of them, but like was doing comedy at the same time and doing improv and stand up and sketch. And yeah, eventually like it became my career and
A thing.
Yeah.
You said you were in all these southern states,
Yeah.
it seems like,
Yeah.
which I also grew up in the South.
Yeah.
What did you learn about religion and spirituality?
Yeah, I grew up Baptist and I feel like I did like going to church. You know, I went to a black church, so it was like the music was great. The vibe was great. And I did every activity. I was an usher. I was in the church choir. I was in little plays. Like, yeah, I was very active in the community and my mom was too. And I think the part my family liked the most about it was the community aspect of it. And, you know, there's some good lessons too. But I did find myself, of course, like not agreeing with every sermon that I heard as far as like, you know, a woman's place in the household or in her community or how to spend your money or, yeah, just things where I was like, I don't know if this is like, I fully agree with this. But like, you know, the community part is the part that I figured most people were doing it for. Like, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's why we like it, right? Yeah. And then when I grew up and like moved to New York and was an adult, I was like, I think I'll try to go to churches. And like, I did try and then there was a couple times where I was like in Bible study arguing with the deacons. And I was like, maybe it's not for me actually. And yeah, I kind of stopped completely. And then like my relationship with religion turned more spiritual and more like believing in the universe and the gifts that it gives and less about like specific entities, I guess.
Do you feel like being involved in the church helped or hindered your like realization of your identity and your queerness?
I don't know, actually. I mean, I do know of queer people who went to my church. But I don't know how they were feeling. Like, I don't know what their journey was or like how their family treated them. I knew who they were, but I didn't know if everyone did. But there was no part of me that felt like I was like I had to hide. I actually didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. Like I didn't really think about my queerness until well into my adulthood. So I don't feel like it was like, oh, the church was making me feel like I had to be like present straight, or my family made me feel like that. Like I you know, if I came out, I think it would probably be fine. And also I do feel like in Black families, it depends on the Black family. They're all families are different, of course, but I do think that there is a bit of a like, yeah, we accept you for who you are, but like we may not talk about it. Like we might sweep it under the rug. Like, oh yeah, that like, you know, Steve, you know, he's a little, like they won't say the words. They'll just be like, you know, he's like, you know, he walks different. Like we won't say what the thing is, but everyone knows what's going on. And, you know, there's pros and cons to that. There's, you know, you wish people could just be open and talk about it, but also I guess maybe the not talking about it also kind of allows it to exist. At least it's not like stopping it.
Sure.
Where I'm sure there are families where they do stop it, but I do, like, as far as I've seen in different Black communities, it's like, yeah, you can do it, but just don't be loud, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you start to kind of maybe question it? Was there a moment? Was there something that was said that you were like, oh?
I don't know how old I was, but I do remember being like, I'm hearing a lot of sermons about tithing. I'm hearing so many, like, you know, and I had like friends whose parents who like gave a percentage of their income to the church, like no matter what, like 10% was going to the church, which, you know, people spend your money however you want to, but it was like to the detriment of the family. Like it wasn't like they had so much runoff that they could just go ahead and do that. It was like the father of the family was so dedicated to the church that it was like blind dedication. And that I don't like kind of tying in like your faith with your finances and being like, well, you know, the harder you believe, the more money you need to give, or like, you know, and we don't have a spreadsheet of like where the money's going. Like we don't know why Jesus needs so much money. Yeah. So I think that was probably like the start of me being kind of like, this is a little sus. Like, of course, there's definitely like great reasons to be here and great lessons to be learned, but also, yeah, that part always felt like sticky to me.
You know what's so interesting is that was a thing my mom always used to say.
Yeah.
She literally would be like, we can't afford to go to church. They always ask for money.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird too.
Yeah.
And then you have these churches, of course, like in Texas, you have these mega churches where the pastor is driving crazy cars and flying on private planes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it is like, Jesus just wants him to have nice shoes. Like, what is happening
Yeah.
here?
I don't know if that's the goal or that should be the goal. Like it's, yeah. Like the things that I liked about it are the community aspect. So the money you would think would be going back to the community.
Yes.
And not to, I guess, whoever's leading the church.
Yes. So I had a really hard time with religion after I moved to LA and I came out. It was one of those things where I was like, the word God made me so angry, like viscerally angry.
Yeah.
And I had a roommate who was so great and was like, I think you need to look into this. Like, why does that make you that way?
Yeah.
And so I really like kind of went into this deep thing of, and I think the root of it was, why do all these people I grew up around, like if they knew me, they would think that I was going to hell. Like if they knew who I actually am, why do they hate people like me? Or why do they, you know? And so that was like the root of all of it.
Yeah.
So I really like dug in on that.
Yeah.
And started to parse apart what religion I kind of believed in and that's where I got to. All of this stuff is actually good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the stuff in the Bible is great. It's just, it's being used by these people to take money from people and it's just being used in an evil way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I landed and how I got to my spiritual side of like universe and all of that.
Yeah.
What was that bridge for you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I also came to that realization that it's like the humans that are interpreting it are the ones twisting the meaning behind the stories. like really any religion, most of them have the same stories. Like they have the same kind of ideology and the same kind of like archetypes and the same lessons. And it's like, that's not actually the issue. It's the people who are using that to get whatever their goal is.
Yes.
To suppress a group of people, to eliminate a group of people, to like put themselves in power. That's the evil part of it, not the religion itself. So I think being able to separate that and realize it's not like, you know, God is bad or religion is bad, or even people who believe that are bad. It's just like how it's being used is what I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During this journey, I was going to go on a fast.
Yeah.
I was like, cause I had read, you know, I was in this whole Buddhism, like I was down a big, hole.
Yeah.
And I was studying Buddhism, and somewhere they say like fasting is a window to the soul. So I was like, I'm going to go on a fast.
Yeah.
My roommate was like, this is a little crazy, like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And this morning before that I was going to go on this fast, I was like, I just need to feel something. I need to feel what all of these people ride so hard for.
Yeah.
And I went to go into a tanning bed and I started meditating in a tanning bed. And wouldn't you know it, this is when I felt God.
In the tanning bed?
I had my spiritual awakening in the tanning bed.
Okay.
I just like...
It can happen anywhere.
It can happen anywhere. I got a little high. I went in the tanning bed.
Yeah, you know, it's like kind of a shortcut to like the desert, you know? You're basically walking for 40 years in the desert as you lay in this tanning bed. It's kind of the same physiological feeling.
Exactly. And so that was when I was like, okay, if I were told that this was God making me feel this way, I would ride really fucking hard for that feeling too. Like, I would be out there telling people like, oh, if you're doing this, then you're not going to feel this. Or if you're, you know what I mean? So I was kind of able to feel what everybody feels in the church. And I think what you're saying, the community, the music, like all of it, it is so beautiful. And there is something there, like, and there is a presence. It's just what people are being sold that presence is maybe, you know, you can also feel it in a tanning bed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think believing in something is cool. Like I like when people talk about their faith, whether I believe in it or not. Like I think it's cool to have a connection to something that you feel guides you, which could be crystals, the stars, God, like it could be, you know, the water, like there's obvious results in faith.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it's good when people have that attachment to it, whatever the thing is, as long as they're using it for themselves and not to put it on other people to control them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. I think this is I've always been like this. Like, I find it so fascinating to ponder these questions. Yeah. All of us are, you know, probably wrong. Like nobody knows what exactly it is, but it's such a fascinating thing to have conversations about and wonder about. Yeah. So what is your methods? What is your rituals?
Yeah. I mean, I think I, you know, think about a grand energy from the universe that's like helping me out. I have tons of crystals in my house. I look to the moon for guidance. Yeah, I think my spirituality is more nature based and kind of witchy, I guess.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. Like, I did Agatha All Along, and I already was feeling like very witchy and stuff like that. But it reminds me, like, the more like research I was doing on witches, and like the more I imbue some of this stuff in my life, the more I was thinking about like my mom and like people in my family who use like nature. Like my mom would be like, oh, you have a cut, here's some aloe vera, or like you're feeling sick, here's some pineapple. Like she like have a answer to everything that came from the earth. And if that ain't magic, I don't know what is. You know, like it feels like, you know, you're using the energy of the things around you, and that feels like, yeah, magic. And you know, and also science, of course, but also like I like being able to think of that everything is connected and that we can use it to our positivity.
What about things like manifestation and using energy in that way?
Yeah, I'm big on manifesting. I feel like I've reaped the benefits from it. Like, you know, I manifested getting on SNL and I was on SNL. I manifested being in the Marvel universe and that has happened. You know, I feel like anything I've like truly said out loud and like focused my energy on, it's happened in some sort of way. And I do feel pretty energetically inclined, but I do think that's an ability anyone can utilize, whether you feel tapped in or not. And yeah, I don't think people realize how much power they actually have until they use it.
Yeah. I have a question that's kind of in this universe that I always think about, because I think certain people who aren't into this kind of thing can be like, oh God, now again, like, you know,
sure.
And I get that. And I wonder, what is the line between like manifestation and energy and toxically positive?
Well, when I think of toxic positivity, I think of people who are using positivity to ignore other options. So like we're not even gonna think about that. We're not even gonna think about the possibility that that could not happen. It's gonna happen. And that's not great either. Like it's great to be like, I want this to happen. I'm going to work hard for this to happen. Or like, this is my goal or my wish. But to be like, nothing else is going to happen except for the thing I want. Like that doesn't actually allow room for other opportunities to happen.
Right.
Because the thing you want might happen, but it might not happen the way you want it. And if you're like closing yourself off to other possibilities, it's a little hard for that to happen.
Like maybe something is happening for that door to be opened later. Or,
Yeah. Because disappointments happen, but like, and also like you're not in charge of your timeline. So if you're being so aggressive about like how you want things done or how you want things to feel, I don't know if that's what the universe wants necessarily.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that fine line of you can put it out there, but then you have to just know that like, okay, what if it doesn't happen right away?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that too, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I also like when people are real and like, I think it's okay to acknowledge when things suck or when things are feeling bad or sad or when you're angry. And like toxic positivity feels very fake to me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's all fine. It's not, are you awake? Like, no, it's not all fine. And it's okay to say that. Like, it's okay to not be fine. And because, you know, eventually, hopefully we won't be one day, but like, I think we'll have a better perspective of how good it is if we acknowledge how it wasn't. And if you're just thinking like, it's great the whole time, you won't really see, like, you can't really see how good it actually can be or how it got.
Like you can't appreciate.
Yeah.
How do you manage all of that in times like we're living in now?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
This is a very weird time. You know, I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
I have a great community around myself. I think I'm trying not to like get scared because there are obviously things that seem very scary, but also I think the news likes to make us feel like we're in crisis mode all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to, I guess, fall into it all the time and like pick the things that feel dire to me, but also remembering that like right now in this moment, I'm safe and my family's safe and just trying to make sure we stay that way and, you know, keep an ear to the ground for when we're not. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you a curveball. I just was genuinely, I'm like thinking like,
well, how do you feel in this time?
Scared.
Yeah.
And sad. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time. Like, it's kind of what I think about before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to, when I do go into a place of the faith, it starts to feel toxically positive.
Yeah.
So then I feel worse because I'm like, I am safe. You know what I mean? But there's so many people who aren't.
For sure.
And so then I feel this guilt
Yeah.
of having this like faith. So it's, I don't know, it's a weird balance.
Yeah. I think I'm also trying to think, I guess we've been talking about community this whole time, but like, I guess think about my community, and I've been going to like more like volunteer things and donating things, and like that, at least my eyeballs seeing that happening and seeing other people participate and stuff like that makes me feel good, because you know, everything feels very large, and and like and there's, you know, moments where it's like, I don't know what I can do to fix that. There's nothing, I'm not even related to this thing. I can't even, how could anyone help? And so, and you know, until I can think of an idea, well, I do know that there's a shelter nearby that needs like tampons. I can go buy some and do that. Or like, I do know, you know, like I can figure out what's happening around me.
Yeah.
And also like that energy spreads, like it is a ripple effect, whether, you know, somebody in that community can tell their friend who's in a different community, and then maybe they start doing stuff in their community, and like, hopefully it just like spreads, and, you know, we get back to taking care of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of a common message I'm hearing of like, stop thinking so big and just try to take it really small and help in whatever way.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even think that even just like being kind to people is like a privilege, like that you have the space to do that. And so I think like, even when it gets super dark, it's like, oh, maybe just smiling at somebody, you know, it's like,
absolutely. Cause it could change their day. You don't know what kind of day they're having, and they see a smile and they're like, oh, this actually makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And maybe they go off and smile at somebody else, and it spreads.
Yeah. Bring it back to basics for real.
Yeah.
Matilda and I have a lot of travel this summer, and we're starting at Easter. We're going to Lisbon to see her family, and I needed luggage so badly, y'all. I had the one that all the basic girls got like a couple years ago, and I can never tell which luggage is mine at the carousel. So I went to quince.com to get first class luggage at an economy price. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than all those other stores. And that's because they work with these top factories and cut out the middleman, and then they pass all the savings down to us. I really needed a bag for the plane that was like cute, but practical. So I went with the Quince leather triple compartment weekender, and I'm so obsessed. For your next trip, treat yourself to luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/made for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/made to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/made. Do you see a connection between witchcraft, feminism, and personal empowerment?
Ooh, yes. Yeah. Witchcraft, witches feel empowering, because I think historically they have been like ousted from communities, towns, and because they're very independent. Like they are like, all I need are my fellow witches or other people like me, and we are creating things together. We are like healing each other. We're using the environment to create medicines or what have you. And that has continuously intimidated people to the point where they, you know, want to hunt these people. I think like empowerment, self-empowerment, feminine empowerment, like same kind of thing. Like, because we're so powerful, there have been so many things put in place to control us. And I think remembering the reason that's happening is because we're so powerful is helpful.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to what we were just saying. Like when the worst fear of these people in control is people gathering in small communities and forming these really strong bonds. And I think that's to be said about any community. I feel that way about the queer community. You know, so that's really powerful. And I think a message all of us could remember and strive for.
My in Agatha All Along, my character Jennifer, we made her, she's a midwife in the show, and there's a whole storyline about midwifery, which also is like taken from history, where like there was a need for someone who knew how to like help women in the birthing process. And a lot of midwives stepped up and used the environment and nature to help them, create things to aid this process. And then a lot of men who were in the medical field saw this and realized, oh, we're losing money. We're not getting that money. So they started creating all these rumors that like midwives are dirty. They're all crazy witches. They're gonna, created this whole lore around it so that now families are shifting to traditional medicine to help them with their birthing process. And, it's still happening. There's like a lot. I think midwifery is like definitely still used and like looked to, but I think there are still some misconceptions of like, well, they're not like doctors, like they don't really know what's happening. When they absolutely do. They just have different practices. But yeah, it's like an example of like these women were so powerful, like being able to take care of other women, that a whole medical community was like, we have to get them out of here. We have to find a way to get them out of here so we can be the benefactors of this.
It's like landmines. That is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, what else are we being told or sold? Because midwife, I also just had that, for some reason that's in my head too. Like that's what I know of midwives. It's like, oh, is that a little bit of a kooky, kooky science? But it's like, I've never looked into it. So even you just saying that kind of opens my mind. But it's like, what the hell else are we being sold and told?
Yeah, so
just
much.
so that they can profit.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. Have you listened to the telepathy tapes?
People keep sending it to me. I have started, but I haven't finished it yet.
I feel like just based on this conversation, you would love it. What do you think about like telepathy and communication with the other side?
Yeah, I believe in it. I mean, I've definitely like had dreams where other people like either they felt like they were also in the dream or like dreams where that event happened later, or I've felt like I've talked to people from the other side through my dreams too. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely.
Okay, that's interesting that you're saying that you experienced that in your dreams.
Yeah.
Because I've only experienced it with my dog.
That counts. That counts.
I'm like, my tanning bed, my dog. But I had a dog that I had for 12 years. I got him when I was 18. He passed when I was 30. So he got me all through my 20s. Like he was with me when I came out. He was with Matilde for a year. I always knew like this dog is going to get me to where I need to be, and then he'll pass. So I met Matilde. He was with Matilde for a year, and then he got cancer. He was fine. Like we were going through chemo, we were going through treatments, but like we knew that we probably only had like 8 months left or whatever.
Yeah.
But we were in like a really good spot. Like he was healthy. And one night I'm dead asleep. And one night I was just sprung up at like 2 a.m. and I woke Matilda up and I was like, something's wrong with Edge. And that night he started internal bleeding and we had to put him down the next day. But it was I was just like so intuitively connected to him.
Yeah.
And then this past week we were at South by Southwest and it was the anniversary of his passing. And I always am just like, give me a sign. And I was going to bed. I was peeing for the last time. We had this big window in our bathroom.
Yeah.
And in the clouds, I swear to God, it said, I heart you. And I was like, oh my God, that's him.
Yeah.
So I've had experiences like that where I'm like, I know that's his name was Edge. If I have a breakdown, I'll be driving behind a Ford Edge. It's just like weird stuff like that. Where I'm like, I know you're still here. And that gives me so much comfort.
Yeah.
But I know I sound so kooky when I'm like, I'm talking to my dog.
Yeah. No, I think it is true. I think a lot of people do want to believe that their, loved ones are still around them in some sort of way. And yeah, and whether it's just like a coincidence or reminders, but I do think there's some sort of like, no, it's like being put in your face for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone told me that like dragonflies are like a big indicator of like someone who passed sending you a message, and like sometimes I'll see one and be like, oh, I'm getting a message, like this feels like nice. And yeah, it always makes me feel, I mean, sometimes it makes me feel sad, but sometimes I feel like not too far, which feels comforting, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me less afraid, I guess, of because it's so daunting to think about, like, what happens after or what's next.
Yeah.
But telepathy tapes, they do talk about this.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I'll get into it.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Where do you see your spiritual journey going next?
Next, I don't know. I'll start a cult or something. I don't know.
I'll join.
I don't know if I have a goal. I mean, I guess I would actually like to know more about the moon. I do feel like I keep getting signs telling me, like, get into this, like, research this. I also I just want to learn more about the environment and the gifts it gives and witches. I was in New Orleans once, and I was like doing this workshop with a voodoo priestess, as you do. And there was like a little tiny like statue of Marie Laveau, and I looked at her, and I like my whole body felt warm from the inside out. Like it was like I was like heating up, and I was like, what's happening? Wow. And the priestess could tell something was happening, and she was like, oh, I think she wants to give you a message. And I was like, what is it? What does she want to say? And she's like, well, maybe you just like do more research on her. And I have books on her that I like haven't finished, but I do want to, like, she was a badass woman. She was like, you know, whether you believe she was a witch or not, she was like respected in her community and like made sure nobody messed with her. Like she kind of was like a gossip and got all the information from like different house workers who lived in like the rich people's homes and like had enough collateral to make sure no one messed with her. And I just love that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, keep me updated on the message.
I will. Yeah.
What is a piece of spiritual wisdom that you live by?
I guess, I don't know if this is spiritual wisdom, but I do try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like just because you never know what people are going through. And sometimes people will come off at their worst, but you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So like just kind of being like, oh, they might be hurting, as opposed to like, fuck this person, you know. Sometimes it is fuck this person, but you know, I do try to, I think I have more of a like empathetic view on it now of like, oh, they might just be really hurting and this is how it's coming out. Yeah.
That's very much how Matilde is. She's very like gives everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I think I can be a little harsher. Like I can really take a first impression and kind of hold on to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the universe being like, hey, maybe consider this.
Yeah. I was in the car with my friend the other day, and this guy like ran a red light, and like I was trying to turn, and he would like, we weren't about to get in an accident, but he was just like being an asshole. And I was like, fuck this guy. And my friend was like, yeah, fuck him. He might be a neurosurgeon on the way to the hospital and like rushing to save someone's life. And I was like, yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah, he probably, that might be why he's rushing. I don't know. I guess ultimately it's fine. Yeah, we are safe and no one got in an accident, but it was annoying for a minute. Fine.
Okay, that's going to be in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question. I ask everybody this. What are you working on in therapy?
Right now, I'm working on identifying my triggers and also communicating them. This is a weird moment for the industry and the world, and I'm not as productive as I usually am. Like, I'm not working, I'm not on set right now, but I am working. It's like things are fine, like if I zoom out, but like my day to day, I'm kind of like, what am I doing? I guess that's, I'm learning that can be a trigger, like productivity can be a trigger for me, or like lack of it, which is also a capitalist mindset, but that's how I am. And there have been times where like, my girlfriend will call me and I'm still in bed, and she's like, oh, you're still in bed? And to me, what I'm hearing is, wow, you're still in bed? You're so lazy. You're not doing anything. I've had a whole day and this is what you're doing. That's not what she's saying, but that's how I color it because of my own insecurities. And so I had to like really like analyze that and also communicate it. So this is also helpful for her. Like, hey, just so you know, this is how I'm hearing it. Like, this is a story I'm telling myself. Even though I know that's not what you mean, that's what is happening in my brain. And so now she's like, oh, okay, I will try not to make it seem like I'm interrogating you. Like, you know, she doesn't have to do a ton, but just like she has a little bit more information as to like, okay, this is a trigger.
Yeah.
This is kind of a sensitive area at the moment. I will try to find other ways to communicate so that it doesn't seem like you are being bad because you didn't get out of bed. You can have whatever day you want. And then, you don't have to feel like you have to give me a progress report because I'm asking, what did you do today?
Right.
And then I also have to work on not thinking that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is hard. How do you do that in the moment?
I guess honestly, identifying it has helped and be like, so if it does come up, I'm like, oh, there's that thing again.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's also still possible. I won't realize it till after the fact, until after I'm triggered. But at least identifying it helps the process.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm so much like this. Even when I'm sick, like I have a hard time just like resting and being. And it's been really helpful to be with someone who's very European. Like, sleep, you're fine, you know? But that is like a whole thing that we really have to kind of beat out of us. It's like old habits. They die really hard.
It's so hard. Yeah. It's like, and I've been in a hustle mindset since college. So it's like, it actually is okay to rest, but
totally.
It's not, I don't always think of it as rest. It feels like, like lethargy or like laziness. And I could be doing something. Yeah, I absolutely could be doing something else. Right. But I don't have to.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just got to remind myself of that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing. I love conversations like this.
Yeah.
They make my job really fun. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Do you want to tell everybody what you're working on, where they can find you?
Yeah.
All of it.
We were talking about the podcast earlier, my best friend's podcast. All the old episodes are out right now and we will have new episodes very soon. And my special, The First Woman, my second special, The First Woman, is on Hulu. And my first special, Pizza Mind, is on Amazon. And Agatha All Along is on Disney Plus. And yeah, just like consume my stuff.
It's all so good.
Thanks.
Check it out. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, we play a game.
Okay.
It's called You Haul or You Ghost. Mm-hmm. They're perfect in every way except for maybe this like one little quirk. Okay. She's a live stream gamer. Mm-hmm. She games every day. There's only like 8 to 10 watchers, but she's just like super, super passionate about it.
I would ghost.
Okay.
I was actually I was gonna blurt it out before you even finished the sentence. Like you said live stream gamer. I was gonna be like, you ghost, but I didn't want to. I was like, let me hear the whole thing out. I just, that's great for people who like that. I'm not a gamer. I don't really want to be around people who stream all the time either. I kind of like living in the moment and not feeling like everything we're doing is for consumption. So yeah, I don't think that's not for me.
I think this is fair. But what I do admire about it, I would still you ghost.
Yeah.
But what I do admire is like a passion.
Yeah, we love
that. That even with 8 to 10 followers, you are.
Yeah, and that could change at some point. You never know. It only takes like a couple, viral things, and then all of a sudden you have a huge fan base. But
maybe they just need to be with another gamer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what about she follows a bunch of hot girls, like models on Instagram?
Is this person liking and commenting on all of their profiles?
Commenting's a little far.
Yeah,
but maybe
right?
likes every once in a while. Oh, a flame emoji. No, that's bad.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, they're putting flame emojis on everybody's profile. I'd be like, I just don't like seeing that. But if they're just following these profiles, I don't know. Like, hotties are abound on social media, and I don't want to be like, you can't look at these people.
Yeah.
And maybe they're looking for inspo. Maybe it's fitness inspo. I don't want to judge. So yeah, I think I wouldn't immediately ghost. I would still be intrigued. So I would say you haul.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Commenting, you ghost.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Commenting flames.
Yeah, that's too much.
Okay. She asks you to hang out. Mm-hmm. And if you say yes,
she says, they're making me do this. Only if you're not too busy for little old me.
Oh, would you haul?
You like it?
I like that. It feels very vulnerable and it's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like put myself in the moment of like how I feel about this. If it was too early on, you think?
I'd be in.
You'd be in.
I'm
Okay.
like, yeah,
All
tell
right.
me you like me. Tell me you're dying to hang out with me. Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
There's a lot worse things out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. As always, help us spread the gay agenda by writing an Apple review, rating us on Spotify, and sharing with everyone you've ever met. And if you haven't yet, join our subscription community, Made It In, for exclusive Made It Out media shows, content, and chat rooms at madeitout.supercast.com. Made It Out is produced by Matilde Jordan and worked on solely by lesbians.
I am so horny. Hurry. Get the vibrator. Never mind. Too late. Wait, do we think too late is like I already came, or too late's like it's gone? Like I'm not horny anymore. Do we think we lost it? Do we think we lost the horn?
I thought it was already.
I mean, I don't know. It's like the moment's gone. Yeah.
That's actually probably more likely what it is. Now that I'm in my 30s.
Yeah, it's like actually no. There was a small window and now it's gone.